everyone, my name is Bhavya Dev from grade 9D from Mount Zion International School. Today I'm going to speak about making of the Indian Constitution from the chapter Constitutional Design. So what does this topic contain? Problem the country was going through during the drafting of Constitution, the path to Constitution, the Constituent Assembly, the three reasons for accepting the Constitution, and the main members of the Constituent Assembly. Situation at that time. India had just got independence and partition was based on religion. The Muslims went to Pakistan and the India and the Hindus and other and people of other religions stayed in India. Difficulties at that time. Like South Africa, Indian constitution had also been drawn up by many difficult circumstances. The making of the constitution for a diverse country like India was not a very easy task because in India there are many diversities and each and every thing in the constitution should suit each and every people with different cultures. At that time, the people of India were emerging from subjects to citizens because during the colonial rule, the citizens of India were treated as subjects, not citizens. Partition when the country was born. India got independence on 1947, 15 August, and Pakistan and India got partition on 14 August 1947. The partition occurred on the basis of religion. The Muslims went to Pakistan and the Hindus and the people practicing other religions stayed in India. 10 lakh people had died on both sides of the border because of partition-related violence. The British had led the rulers of the princely states to decide whether they would join India or Pakistan or remain independent, which was another problem. The makers of the constitution had anxieties about the present and the future because of these difficult circumstances. The path to constitution. Under this topic, there are two advantages of making the constitution and the inspiration from where our freedom strugglers and the Constituent Assembly leaders and the members got inspired. The first advantage. First advantage is that unlike South Africa, India did not have to make consensus about how a democratic India should look like. It started before the independence itself. So, from Motilal Nehru and 8 other Congress leaders drafted the Constitution for India in 1958. In 1931, the resolution at the Karachi session of the Indian National Congress dwelt on how independent it should look like. So, these two documents included UAF, that is Universal Address Francis, right to freedom, right to equality, and right of minorities. So this shows that before the independence also, there were secret meetings conducted by the freedom strugglers who made meetings to show the people how we have to develop our country after independence. Because India was not only struggling against the foreign rule, but also trying to regenerate its society and politics. Second advantage. Second advantage was that the British rule gave voting rights only to a few. It was a weak legislature which was provided by the British. Elections to provincial legislatures and ministers all over British India were held in 1937. These were not fully democratic, but these gave some idea to the Constituent Assembly members about how they can develop their institutions. And because of that, the Indian Constitution adopted institutional details from colonial laws like Government of India Act 1935. Inspiration. So from where did they get inspired? Where did our leaders and freedom strugglers get inspired from? From the past, from the same situation the other countries had, colonized countries had. So from the French Revolution and from that they got the legacies and the ideas of equality, fraternity, and liberty. Status of parliamentary democracy in Britain, the Bill of Rights from US, the socialist revolution in Russia made Indians to think of shaping a system based on social and economic equality. So they got these many documents, these many ready-made documents, but they were not like us. They did not uh, they did not see them and just intimated in that. They thoroughly checked them, and that each and every section they questioned whether it would suit our country or not, because they knew that each and every country is different and each and every country is unique, and therefore their constitution also should be different. The Constituent Assembly. So who made the Constitution? The Constituent Assembly members only made the Constitution. The drafting of the Constitution was done by the members of the Constituent Assembly. Elections were held in July 1946 to elect the members of the Constituent Assembly, and it was indirectly elected by the people. First, we elected the provincial legislatures in 1937, and they elected the members of the Constituent Assembly in July 1940. First meeting of the Constituent Assembly was on December 1940. Then unfortunately, partition occurred between Pakistan and India, and because of that, the Constituent Assembly also had to be partitioned. And the Indian Constituent Assembly had 299 members. They adopted the Constitution on 26 November 1949, but the Constitution came into effect only on 26 January 1950, and that day is celebrated as Republic Day every year. Three reasons for accepting the Constitution. The Constitution does not reflect the views of its members alone, but also expresses a broad consensus of its time. This means that the Constitution is really very old. It had been made 6 decades ago, but still the Constitution has not been replaced because of the belief, our Indians have on the Constitution. As 6 decades have passed and no large societies or large political parties question the Constitution, each and every person and each and every citizen have belief on the Constitution. Therefore, they are accepting the Constitution. The Constituent Assembly represented the people of India, and they consisted of different people of different caste, religion, creed, and were from different parts of the country, as they were elected by the provincial legislature and indirectly elected by us. The manner the Constitution worked was so systematic. Yes, because the manner the Constitution worked was so systematic. First, a drafting committee was created. First, some basic principles were decided, and then a drafting committee chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, where the Constitution was drafted. And then, after drafting the Constitution, there were several rounds of trials, clause by clause, and then they went on thoroughly. And each and every member of the Assembly came 114 days spread over 3 years. Every 3 years they came for 114 days. Every document presented and every word spoken in the Constitution was recorded and preserved, and these are known as Constituent Assembly debates. And when they are printed, they form 12 bulky volumes of papers. The Constitution had totally 2,000 amendments, and therefore the Constitution is partially flexible and partially rigid. These debates provide the rationale behind each provision of the Constitution. Now we'll learn about some of the important members of the Constituent Assembly. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, who was the chairman of the drafting committee at the Constituent Assembly, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of the Constituent Assembly. Vallabhbhai Javirbhai Patel, the, was the person who united 546 states into 28 states. And he is known as the Iron Man of India, and because of that, he is honored by constructing the tallest statue in the world. Thank you. And before saying thank you, I like to say that please stay home, stay safe, and please eat healthy to be strong. Thank you.